We are experiencing the twin pandemics of systemic racism and COVID-19 in the United States. Together, these two events, born of structural and institutional inequities throughout our society, have an extraordinary impact.
To protect the health of our community and in solidarity with our local and state officials, Queens College classes will be held via distance learning for the remainder of the spring and summer 2020 semesters. The college is prepared to accommodate students affected by the coronavirus, and the challenges is presented to the greatest reasonable extent. If you feel sick, please contact a healthcare provider. If you don't have a healthcare provider, please call 311. Hospital staff cannot ask you about your immigration status or deny you care based on your ability to pay.
How does a community function without touch?
How does community
function without touch?
How does community function without touch?
How does community function without touch?
As I sit here, I watch a new father hold his baby above him as he lays on his back. I see children dressed in bright clothes running, skipping, and laughing, just as the leaves are starting to change. One falls on the bench next to me. I see a masculine person pushing and pulling on a railing that separates the lake from the sidewalk. On the bench across from me is a feminine person with their mask off while speaking on the phone. But how breathtaking it is to feel so singular. Like I am the only person on this planet who can understand this jagged streamline of processing and interpreting. It's quite a shame, though, that in our world, difference is automatically passed off as wrong without opening an ear.
In a city ravaged by the coronavirus, few places have suffered as much as Central Queens. Where a 7-square-mile patch of densely packed immigrant enclaves recorded more than 7,000 cases in the first weeks of the outbreak. Deaths have continued to climb, and the state reached a new one-day high of 799, according to the figures released. In the months since the virus exploded in New York, it has claimed rich and poor, the notable and the anonymous. But as the death toll has mounted, the contagion has exposed the city's stubborn inequities. Tearing through working-class immigrant neighborhoods far more quickly than others.
The pandemic was really rough on me. I felt so lost and didn't know if I wanted to be here anymore. Every day felt harder, and all I wanted was to be happy. It didn't seem like it'd ever feel that way again. I really thought I didn't deserve happiness, and I felt like I was being punished for some unknown reason. Throughout quarantine, I learned a lot of things. I realized some things about myself, and really had a good look on life.
Floral dress and wild curls, dolls surrounding little innocent me. She smiles and reaches out. She knows. I hold her and rock her back and forth. Don't worry, I whisper in her ear. I'm here. It's okay. I'm here. To guide her, to hold her. You're not alone, I tell her. We are together. Don't worry, we are okay. I love you.
As we're all stuck at home and stuck with our own thoughts, I've been thinking a lot about the idea of home and the places I've lived that I've called home throughout the years. Before I was stuck here with my mom and my sisters, I was living in a tiny little apartment in Paris. Before that, I was sharing a dorm room with 3 of the best roommates I've ever lived with. And then way back when I was growing up, I lived in a house kind of in the middle of the woods with my parents and my sisters. And although each of these places posed their own unique difficulties, and each period of my life was different and difficult and stressful for various reasons, I found a sense of home in each of them, and I realized that when I look back at each of them, they end up being the good old days for various reasons. And now I'm just trying to find the good old days every day.
Other than creating art, spending time with my family is probably one of my top 3 favorite things to do in this entire world. I value my time with my family, regardless of how the time is spent. It could be the simplest conversations between my parents, and one thing could be said that will change my whole perspective in life. In addition, laughing uncontrollably with my brother reminds me of how much I enjoy laughing and having a good time no matter what the circumstances are. Moments like that get ruined so quickly when stuff goes wrong, so I think it is important to take advantage of those amazing moments. I will never forget the countless college weekends when I lived in the dorms. There were multiple moments where I could have gone out with my friends to a party, and instead, I would spend the weekend with my family. We would create parties of our own, in the comfort of our own home. Even though my family has never owned a house, no matter where we lived, the essence and comfort of our family alone is what made where we were living a home. It wasn't about the four walls. It was about the people within those four walls that make a place a home.
It doesn't matter who we are or what we go through. We attain similar thoughts as we go through everyday life. It's very important to remember, despite about how you feel about yourself and your place in the world, we all hold a significance.
I remember my last moment with my grandmother before she died. I was at her house and she was laying in bed. I stood at one side and held her hand. She floated in and out of consciousness. I squeezed her hand and she woke up. She looked at me, mouthed, "I love you so much," and then she dozed off. Tears streamed down my face as I realized that would be the last thing she would say to me. I found comfort in this moment during quarantine as I struggled to love myself through the highs and lows.
Anxiety, the irrational and intense level of stress caused by running late. Boredom, a state of mind in which not even John Mayer's music is of interest. Catharsis, when a film not only makes you tear up, but fully weep. Discomfort, hearing the sound of scratching on corduroy, canvas, or denim. Envy, the unpleasant side effect of watching a dancer you admire. Fear,
the overwhelming doubt that arises from choosing a career in the arts. Gratitude, one half of the warm fuzzy feeling brought on by reminiscences. Hatred, an involuntary reaction to any display of apathy. Joy, experiencing a piece of art, dance, film, literature, theater, or music with those close to you. Love, a deep emotional connection shared briefly with a trumpet player. Nostalgia, the second half of the warm fuzzy feeling brought on by reminiscences. Satisfaction, a sensation resulting from a callback joke or a song that gives you chills.
How can you love a country that doesn't love you?
How can you love a country
How can you love a country
that
that doesn't love you?
How can you love yourself
How can
in
you
a
love
country
yourself
that does
in a
not
country
love
that
you?
does not love you?
How can you love a country
How
that
can you
doesn't
love a
love
country
you?
that doesn't love you?
How can you love a country that doesn't love you?
that doesn't love you?
How can you love yourself
How
in
can
a
you love a
country
country
that
that
does
doesn't
not
love you?
How can you love yourself in a country that does not love you? The U.S. has been convulsed by nationwide protests over the death of an African American man in police custody. George Floyd, 46, died after being arrested by police outside a shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Footage of the arrest on May 25th shows a white police officer, Derek Chauvin, kneeling on Mr. Floyd's neck while he was pinned to the floor. Transcripts of police body cam footage show Mr. Floyd said more than 20 times he could not breathe as he was restrained by the officers.
Louisville city officials have said that a policeman involved in the killing of an African American woman in the U.S. state of Kentucky will be fired. Breonna Taylor, 26, was shot when officers entered her flat on March 13th during a drugs investigation. Ms. Taylor's name has become a rallying cry at global anti-racism protests. I told myself to love yourself and the way you look. No matter what anyone says, you are worth it and you are beautiful. Go for everything you want. Don't be afraid. Things will be okay even when they seem like they aren't. Love. Respect. Love yourself, beautiful. Respect yourself beautiful. Love yourself beautiful. You matter. You are worth it. I told myself to love yourself and the way you look. No matter what anyone says, you are worth it and you are beautiful. Go for everything you want. Don't be afraid. Love yourself.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
I have a unique narrative that I can speak to the world, often perceived differently than intended. Frequently, our stories are recognized in one singular way, when in reality, there are many sides to a story. I live in many forms of reality. I progress through different dimensions concurrently. How do I move and unfold my story? Entangled together are the narratives I speak to the world, all encompassed inside one person. That person is me.
I am. I am who I am. I needed to find me, find myself, work on myself. I took a trip to the past. I took a trip standing in the grass, gazing into the eyes of the unknown. It was different. I tried to envision myself. I saw myself. I was able to see clearly. I felt that I would not be afraid. We would not be afraid. I saw her. She was listening, eyes wide open. I was listening. I was isolated. I looked within and I was able to see me. Me. I am me. No longer isolated, but enveloped in the feeling of love. For myself, my past self, my present self, my future self. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am brave. I am powerful. I am a queen. I break barriers. I love myself. I am myself. I am me. I am me.
I try to speak out, but all I hear is sissy. I try to stand up, and all I hear is fatty. I try to put clothes on and all I hear is ugly. I try to breathe, and it is all I hear. I gather energy to send, synaptizing myself for your comfort, and all I hear is wrong. I drink your wine, I lick your boot, I wash your underwear, and all I hear is bad. I try to plan for the greater good, and you tell me to stop. How come? I lose 4.5 pounds, and you say, not good enough? How come? I'll take a sip of water, so that I can control all that I can hear. I was told to believe that I was an American body. America keeps telling me that my body is American, just so long as I keep it the way America wants me to. By this association, I am not America. My best friend is not America. Why should this country, full of people who kill, scrutinize, maim, and lay into others, feel safe and secure if I can't? And why do I have to be uncomfortable because I am not America? The apocalypse will come one day. And when that happens, maybe America will know accountability.
What is the new normal? What should the new normal be?
What is the new normal?
What is the new normal?
What should the new normal
What should the
be?
new normal
What is the
be?
new normal?
What is
What
the
should
new
the new
normal?
normal be?
What should the new normal be?
What should
What should the new normal be?
What is
What
the new
is
normal?
the new normal?
What should the new normal be?
What should the new normal be?
When we are not loved and accepted for who we are, we hide ourselves away. When touch and proximity are not an option, we must be contented with only ourselves as company. When what was once normal no longer exists, the abnormal becomes our new reality.
I have this memory of myself as a small child. I was maybe about 5 years old. I was sitting on my front lawn alone playing when a butterfly landed beside me. My dad walked out of the house, saw me alone, and walked towards me. I picked up the butterfly and went to eat it, but he called my name and told me not to put it in my mouth. So I looked at him, let it go, and it floated away. I thought about this moment the other day when I was in Fort Tilden and saw a butterfly on a small bush. Sometimes I wonder if it really happened because it was so long ago. But I know it did because I've confirmed it with my parents. I still wonder why I would want to eat the butterfly, though. Why would I want to eat something so delicate, free, and beautiful? I guess I admired it, but when you admire something, you let it be. You don't destroy it. I think I craved those qualities and hoped through ingestion that I would absorb them or something. Then again, I was 5, so it's likely that I'm overanalyzing the whole thing in a search for some deeper meaning as per usual.
As many as 400,000 people may return to work on Monday in a city still recovering from the pandemic and roiled by protests. Workers could begin returning to construction jobs, manufacturing sites, and retail stores in the city's first phase of reopening. A surge of normalcy that seemed almost inconceivable several weeks ago, when the city's hospitals were at a breaking point, and as many as 800 people were lying dead from COVID-19 on a single day.
As time passes by, we realize what really matters. It's our willpower to keep moving forward despite any obstacle trying to hold us back. We can choose to spiral down to despair, but there is always a bright way out. We can allow our surroundings to overwhelm us, but there is always a bright way out. We can choose to succumb to weakness, but there is always a bright way out.
Serenity. Sorrow. Loneliness. Why does this happen? Floating. Mesmerizing. Death. Air. things around us, emotion, devotion, complexity, sadness. Why?
We're existing in two spheres of reality. I feel as though sometimes we as people are more than our singular selves. There are many sides to us. The one in our dreams, the person everyone on the outside sees, the one that we show to the world, and the person we actually are. In dance, the movement we express tells a story. But it's more than just the movement that paints a story to the world.
I try to speak, to stand up, clothes on, and breathe, and that to send. Synapse. All I hear. Your boot, and I drink your. The greater good, 4.5 pounds. You. I'll take a sip of water, but then I'll splash in it. So I can. All I hear.
When I thought of healing, I immediately envisioned water or rain.
The good old days. Remember them? You ask when, you ask where. I say exactly. Is it the 4 walls that remind me of how it used to be? Is it the 4-letter word that brings me back to dream about the good old days? Take me home. I want to go home. Wait, where is home? Tiny, different, difficult, out of luck. Do I still have to pay rent if I am stuck inside this place I call home? It can't be the 4 walls, but maybe the 3 roommates, 2 parents, and 1 brother. I count down the days to reach to the good old days, just to find out I can make them every day.